שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Hello everyone, it's so good to see you all. Just want to say a special warm welcome to those of you who are joining us online. And of course, it's just wonderful to be here with all of you in person. I want to tell you right off the bat that Rabbi Cari, who you can see is not here, is at the tail end of a virus that she had this week, not COVID, but was still feeling a little under the weather. So she has spared us her cooties and she is not going to be joining us tonight. But wishes you all a Shabbat Shalom. So I just want to say a special welcome back to Jerry and to Judy Blaine, who are unexpectedly here from Florida. It's really good to have you back in the sanctuary, and especially to those of you who are maybe coming into our sanctuary for the first time. Just wondering if you'd raise your hand if this is your first time here, and welcome to you. It's so good to have you here, and if you haven't been here in a while also, welcome back. So I'm just aware of what a difference a week makes in temperature. It's a little warm in here actually tonight. And just thinking about how some of us came out in that freezing cold of last week, and how this week was it 60 degrees? I think it was very close to it, if not 60. And just feeling that sense of gratitude that no matter what the outside world brings us, and it has been bringing us a lot, we are here. We're here together, whether it is online or in the sanctuary. We create Shabbat together. It is our spirits, our souls together that creates this. And we're participating in this commandment that dates back millennia. The commandment that we find in this week's Torah portion, this mitzvah of allowing ourselves to pause, to breathe, to get resouled and renewed, to see friends, new and old. We mark sacred time. We divide time up so that we can find these times of holiness together in loving community. So we are going to begin with lighting our Shabbat candles. And if you are at home and have your candles, I invite you to get them out. And by doing this, we create more light, more warmth, more connection in this ritual time that connects us with the generations past. I know there are people in our hearts tonight who maybe we lit candles with, the present, this precious present moment, and with the generations that are yet to come. And Jen Irvin has kindly agreed to light our candles for us tonight. And Jen, we're so glad you're here as you mark the 6th week since your mom's passing. And so we turn to page 1. We'll sing it together, but if you just go ahead and light, we'll just. No, we've got some tough wicks here with this box of candles. Make these circles of holiness, 3 circles, taking that light into ourselves, gratitude. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlek ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Page 2. Maya Hayom. What a beautiful day this Shabbat is. Did anyone get out into that sunshine? Nice. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya I think we all know that in endless amounts of ways, we live surrounded by uncertainty of all kinds. And as our Torah portion this week reminds us, it is often in just these times that revelation, which I understand to mean an invitation into new ideas, new experiences, new ways of being, that revelation can blossom. And so it happens with our biblical ancestors who have now been in the desert for 3 months as this week's Torah portion, Yitro, begins. And this is the portion that contains the 10 Commandments. And we know well that world-changing drama that takes place at the base of Mount Sinai, the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 utterances, commandments that are spoken by God. There is thunder and lightning, the mountain trembles and smokes, the shofar blares. And then, as Rabbi Yael Levi wrote so beautifully this week, and then there is silence, a silence so full there is nothing else, only a sense of the oneness of all, of our interconnection and interdependence with all that lives. There is a reminder in that silence that we are responsible for and to each other, that we are here to live in reverent relationship with all beings, with all life. And so throughout this service, in between the prayers, we'll read together Rabbi Levi's interpretation of the Aseret HaDibrot, of the Ten Commandments. And later in the service, we'll have the opportunity to reflect upon them and maybe even create the words we need to hear, the commandments we need to hear in our own lives now, as we have the privilege of listening for the echoes of when, as Torah tells us, we all were standing at Sinai, one community connected through all time and space. And so we begin with the first commandment. I am, I was, I will be. I am the continual unfolding of all. I am the force of transformation, the energy of liberation that opens the expanse. I am the force of transformation, the energy of liberation that opens the expanse. And as we turn to page 5, we sing out the song that contains our own melodies, our own new song, Shir Chadash, singing that song out to all the earth. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai. The second utterance. Do not give yourself to false gods. Do not worship what you make with your own hands. Be aware of what you worship through your actions and your choices. Welcome Shabbat together. Chadodi, come friends. Let us continue to create that spaciousness, allowing ourselves to breathe, coming into wholeness. Lechandodi, lekhankala, yalala, yalala, yalla, pene Shabbat. Nechamela, yaela, elai, lechandodi, lekhankala, yalala, yalala, yalla, pene Shabbat. Nechamela, oh, Shamon, Mizachor, Bidibur Echad, Hishme'anu El HaMeyuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, Leshamo Letiferet, Velitila, Lechando lekhat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela yai lai lai lekhandori lekhat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela likrat Shabbat lechun elcha ki mekor habaracha lerosh mikedem nisuchav sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila lechandori likrat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela yai lai lai lechandori likrat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela hitoreri kiva oreh kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alai nigla lekadori lekakala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela yai lai lai lekhandori lekakala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat we rise and face the back la oh boi mishalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzohala toch emunei am segula boi kala lechandori lekhat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela yai lai lai lechandori lekhat kala yala la yala la yala Penei Shabbat nekavela. It's always such a nice moment when we see our Zoom friends in the back. They're getting to wave to you guys. Hello. And we remain standing in body or in spirit as we return to Dan Lieber and in spirit to Caroline, Sherry, and Rose who are watching online because Dan is returning to the sanctuary for the first time after the memorial service of his second mom, Rosalie Chris Irpino, for whom Rose is named. And Dan, our hearts are with you and with Caroline, Sherry, and Rose as we speak these ancient words of comfort to you, which you'll find either on the bottom of page 12 or on the screen back there. Hamakom yenachem etchem betoch sha'ar avelei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God's presence comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And we remain standing in body or spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 15. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ba'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala uvizman kariv ve'imeru amen yehesh merabah mevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nech da'amiran ba'alma ve'immeru. Amen. Commandment number 3. Do not lift up my essence for lies and deceit. Do not use my name to justify destruction. Turning to page 16. Dear one, Shekhinah, holy name, when I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe. Your word brings on evenings. With wisdom, you open heaven's gates. With understanding, you change fixed times and alternate the seasons and arrange the stars in their place in the sky according to your will. We turn to the bottom of page 17. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. Please be seated. Tonight we have an interpretation of Ve'ahavta, written by Rabbi Marcia Falk. Loving life and its mysterious source with all our heart and all our spirit, all our senses and strength, we take upon ourselves and into ourselves these promises: to care for the earth and those who live upon it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion. We will teach this to our children throughout the passage of the day as we dwell in our homes and as we go on our journeys from the time we rise until we fall asleep. And may our actions be faithful to our words, that our children's children may live to know truth and kindness have embraced, peace and justice have kissed and are one. Last week we talked about the song of the sea, from whence the words of Micha Mocha come. And I love how we have so many creative composers, songwriters who take these ancient words and breathe new life into them. Tonight we'll sing the melody of Alana Aryan, imagining our ancestors standing in front of the sea, the Egyptian army behind, and making their way across Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. Mikamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mikamocha nedar b'kodesh, norat tehilot osef ele, norat tehilot osef ele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Mikamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mikamocha nedar b'kodesh, norat tehilot osef ele, norat tehilot osef ele. Yadada yada yadada yada 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 yadada yada yada Commandments 4 and 5. Remember Shabbat and keep it holy. Stop, pause, be, honor creation. Rest and allow others to rest as well. Honor your parents. Honor those upon whose shoulders you stand. A prayer for peace on page 22. May there come a day when all who dwell on this planet lie down in peace, rise up to life renewed, with a sukkah of peace surrounding them. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzedkeinu u'baweinu lechaim u'shalom le'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Now we are up to commandments 6 through 10. Do not murder. Do not betray. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not use words to hurt or destroy. I love this last one. Do not be led astray by comparing yourself to others. Do not get lost in desiring what others have. Be content. Be fulfilled with what your life brings. For tonight's Amidah, I invite you to meditate upon these words, our tradition, and to notice in yourself what words emerge for yourself, what words you're needing, what kavanah, what intention, as we move into this Shabbat of revelation. So we'll take our time. Out loud, we'll chant the first 3 brachot, and then a time of that silence that we began with, that silence in which all exists. And the beauty of the silence when we're together is that we're not alone. We create a holy silence together. So if you would like to rise for the Amidah, please do so and be seated whenever it feels right to you. Walk around the room, find a window. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid ilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid ilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem Leman shemo be'ahava Melech ozer umoshia umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia Mechalkel chayim bechesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim verofeh cholim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha Baal Gevurot Umidom Elach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Even back in the 3rd or 4th century, composers of these prayers knew that it wasn't just a little bit of peace that was needed to spread out across the world, but Shalom Rav, an abundance of peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. On page 130, turn to our prayer for healing, whether in body, spirit, mind, mood. We offer these words to all who are in need of healing. Tonight, especially thinking about the hundreds of thousands of people whose lives have been disrupted by the violent shuddering of the earth in Turkey and in Syria and in surrounding countries. We are sending healing prayers to Beatrice Fay, to Susan and Josh Olar, to Kaylee Casas and to baby Zay, to Sue Gum and to Nan Owens, to Jan Amsterdam, Sharon Solomon, Nancy Cormier, to Margaret Menashe, to Eliza Stern-Geyer, Pat Urich, Peter Feynman, Alina Clayman, Diana Sanders, Evelyn Perlman, Gary Setnick, Tal Schechter, Laura Augart, Nancy Schrock, Jan Wallace, Lloyd Frankie, to Hung and Chi, to Debbie Alpert, Michelle Macia, Ed Snow, Alan and Joanne Travis, to Marianne Demers, Naomi Fisher, Jabari Williams, Kathy Grossman, Sonal Star, Joyce B., Andy A., Paul P., and Gloria, to Nancy Alpert, Ayelet Bat Chava Shmuel, Debbie Gilman, Neil Daniels Midman, Anya Kabel, Sue Boardman, Sarah Kianowski, Debbie Sachs-Buteau, Stanley Roth, and Kathy Nath. I invite you who are joining us online to put names into the chat. And if you are here in the sanctuary and would like to add a name, please raise your hand.
Roberts. Do all the brave Ukrainians
all that have bin named, and all who we are holding in our hearts. Turn to the left-hand side of page 130, sending out healing. Mi sheberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech v'Yirapeh et hacholim May that prayer arrive in the form it is needed for each person for whom we are praying. And we turn to Psalm 59, which is not often one that is spoken or sung in our liturgy, but it is one in which the rabbi and composer Josh Warshawski found much meaning. And he put this beautiful melody to these words. He says, the psalmist says, I will sing of your strength, proclaim each morning your faithfulness, for you have been my haven, a safety in my time of trouble. To you, I will sing my strength. And he notes how cool it is that these verses begin, I will sing of your strength, and it ends with, and I'll sing my strength to you too. And this feels right for these times. Let's sing our strength to each other. Va'ani ashir uzecha. Va'ani ashir uzecha. Va'aranen laboker chasdecha. Ki hayita miskav li umanos be'om sali. Va'ani ashir uzecha va'aranen laboker chasdecha ki hayita miskav li umanos be'om sali. Boker chasdecha ki hayita miskav li umanos be'om sali. Va'ani ashir uzecha va'aranen laboker chasdecha hayita miskav li umanos Could we just sing it till tomorrow morning, ideally? Just want to say I love our Friday nights so much. Just feeling the reset, the strength that gets shared on these evenings, and the sanctuary has been truly a sanctuary for so many years now. What these walls, what these wooden boards contain, it has held our sadness and our joys. It has been a refuge, truly. And I just feel overflowing with gratitude, truly. And every year when we come to this Torah portion, there is a section that I fall in love with each Torah cycle. And it is the passage that comes right before the giving of the Ten Commandments, when Moses' father-in-law, a non-Jewish Midianite priest, comes to visit. And he brings along with him Moses' wife and their two sons, Gershom and Eliezer. It is a joyful family reunion because Moses has been in Egypt doing everything that needed done there to get out of Egypt, and he hasn't seen them for a while. So after much weeping and hugging and kissing and feasting, Moses sets about telling Yitro, his beloved father-in-law, everything that has happened since they last saw each other in Midian, where Moses had been employed as a shepherd. After Yitro hears the story, he offers a prayer of gratitude to God. And the next morning, he joins Moses at work, watching as Moses spends every waking hour sitting and solving the many disputes of the Israelites, who all seem to be in an understandable hot mess because they are a displaced, disorganized people, 2 million of them, and they face enormous difficulties. And Yitro is appalled by what he sees. He tells Moses that this system of leadership where everything lies within a single individual is not sustainable. He describes to Moses a new form of leadership. He tells Moses to appoint judges, lots of them, to do this work, and to let these trusted judges solve all but the most major disputes, and that they can bring to Moses. Make it easier on yourself by letting them share the burden with you, Yitro counsels. And interestingly, Moses seems to innately know that this is the right move, as if he knew that that's the change that needed to be made, but he couldn't quite get there, couldn't quite figure out how to break the cycle that he was in. And he does immediately, just as Yitro advises him. So I see this moment as Moses' moment, his own personal moment of revelation, before the big dramatic communal revelation that begins to take shape in just the next verse after this passage with Yitro, this intimacy with Yitro. We move into the revelation at Mount Sinai. But before that could happen, Moses had to shift. He had to change before this next life-changing step could take place. And I know that for me, and I imagine for some of you as well, that change is not always so easy. Even when somebody tells me something I already know to be right. But maybe Moses was able to so quickly transform his leadership style because the idea came from a beloved, trusted outsider. Or maybe because it was a new idea, a fresh idea. But whatever the cause, without hesitation, Moses sees, understands the truth in Yitro's words. And this seeing and this willingness to act leads to the igniting of our people's ability to both receive and give Torah, the set of laws and stories at the center of our identity and worldview for thousands of years now. So my question in all of this and for you is, in this week of revelation, are there shifts and changes that you already sense need to happen in order for your next steps to unfold? Do you have a sense of what stands in your way? Is there a Yitro in your life guiding you to see more clearly, speaking truth that you can hear, who could help unblock the way for you to make way for those changes? So as we let the words of the Ten Commandments flow through our screen, flow through our hearts, think about what words you are needing in your own life right now. And in a paraphrase of the words of Rabbi Levi, may the call of this ancient wisdom guide us, each one of us, into becoming our fullest selves, bringing meaning, mending, and healing not only to our own lives, but to the lives of our loved ones and into this fractured and precious world. We begin to conclude our service using very words of Torah taken from what is known as the heart of the Torah, from the book of Leviticus, the third book, in the middle of the third book. May we love our fellow neighbor, our fellow human, as we love ourselves. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. This will be our setting of Aleinu tonight, when we rise in body or in spirit. Be seated. Turn to page 44. I love when Rabbi Rim would say this, becoming a community of memory. Turn to words of Mourner's Kaddish. Tonight we are remembering in recent days the passing of a dear friend of Sarah Epstein, Nicholas Welsh, and a friend of Steve McHugh's, who died on Monday night in Arlington, Liz Egan. And of course, I think 21,000 now that have been counted thus far, people who have died in the earthquake that happened this past Monday, February 6th. And in this time of Shloshim, this is the last Shabbat, I think, Lynn, of your mother, Duffy Brodsky, Emma Watkins, and Lois Laniel, Lisa Deutsch's beloved mother. And the yortzites for tonight include Erwin Hirsch, father of Janice Hirsch, and so glad you're here tonight, Janice. Michael Ain, beloved brother of Rob Ain. And this weekend marks the 7th yortzeit of Kira Grace Coman. I know that Stu is watching tonight, and Stu, our hearts are with you. And Karen, I believe this is the first yortzeit of the secular calendar of your father, Marvin Silverston. So glad you're here tonight. And the yahrzeit of Allie Jessup, dear friend of Nan Owens. And in this year of memory, we remember Ken Blumberg, Janet Kandel, Henry Wolfson, Erwin Lebo, Helen Fine, Wynne Musgrave, Sue Papanek McHugh, Bob Ruxon, and Kay Ann Liss. If there are yahrzeits you're observing tonight or just feeling someone very close to you, please put their names in the chat if you are joining us online, and raise your hand if you are here in the sanctuary. Of course, Kat, just feeling Jack's presence here, his sparkly eyes, and the way he would tap his foot through the entire service. Feeling him here very strongly tonight. And so we take all of these beloveds and we rise in body or in spirit, joining our voices together, holding each other close. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, b'chaye chon uv'yomei chon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei kudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Just a couple of announcements. Torah study is tomorrow morning at 10:30. And on tomorrow night, I believe, the Israel Committee is sponsoring a great event, a great speaker, and it will both be in person here and via Zoom, a talk by Gail Yacobi about her work with the Israeli government, setting policies for projects promoting the employment of the Arab sector. She's a very, very impressive person and doing incredibly important work. So it's worth tuning in or showing up tomorrow night at 7. And on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., adult learning class continues on Maimonides, and that's all via Zoom. Next Friday night, the 17th, is the first time that Temple Shir Tikvah will be participating in Repro Shabbat, which is sponsored by the National Council of Jewish Women. There are over 1,000 congregations taking part in this Shabbat focused on reproductive rights for women. Before the service, there will be an informal dinner. Just register for it for those who identify as women in our community, and that will start at 6 in the Oneg room. And it promises to be a very deep service that will be followed next month by a Connections event, also on reproductive rights through a Jewish lens. And because we are at the 6-month mark this weekend, Dan, our camping trip takes place the second week of August this year, our temple camping trip. It will be the weekend of August 11th to 13th. So only 6 months away, we're getting there. And I bet registration will open in the next couple months, but just want to put that on your mind, on your radar. Any other announcements? We will end our service with Shalom Aleichem on page 49. And for the first time in a very long time, we are actually going to do Kiddush and Motzi downstairs in the Oneg room, where our wonderful Ainsley has set up a beautiful Oneg Shabbat down there, so we can continue hanging out together. And let us welcome in those Shabbat angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi HaSharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sechem Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Shabbat Shalom, everyone.